Hey everyone, welcome to Otaku Talk. It's me, your boy, your host, OD, and today we'll be reviewing and analyzing chapter 1108 of One Piece Attention World. I'll also be talking a little bit about 1107 since I missed my review last week. Anyway, if this is your first time on this channel or you've been here before but haven't done so already, would greatly appreciate it if you could like, share, and subscribe. Would mean the absolute world to me. Anyway, without much further ado, let's get in this review.
頑張れそう頑張れ諦めないで口笛吹きさ歩き出そうよ Going now.
All right, everyone. So 1108 of One Piece Attention World. And like I said, I'm going to talk a little bit about 1107. I'm just going to hit some key points. The first key point I want to talk about, I should say, is I just want to start here. It is a sad, sad day for Zoro fans, and the Sanji fans are dancing on our graves right now. Not gonna lie, this shit caught me by surprise. I was one of the many that was like, this Rob Lucci fight isn't gonna take Zoro no time at all. Luffy was messing around with him in Gear 5. You know, I just thought, Zoro was gonna get a little sweat in, Maybe he didn't even need, three swords, all that. He was going, see how he is right now. But no, you're still fighting this dude? Zoro, you're still fighting this dude? And let's be real, I'm using all sorts of cope. Because, like, to be fair, is it cope, though? Zoro's only using two swords. He don't got the bandana on. I'm sure the community has been saying the same thing as me. But it's facts, though. Those are the signs that Zoro is going all out, and he's not right now. But it's kind of crazy to me. We don't see any, like, hockey coating on Lucci, and, like, Zoro is kind of, like, sweating a lot. So it's just perplexing to me. I don't know, like, I want to say he's playing with his food, but, like, in the context of the story, what kind of sense does that make at this time? Because, like, this is a serious matter. They got to get off this island. Their lives are at risk, at threat. Like, you need to put Lucci away. So, like, what is taking so long? This is an incredibly bad look. I saw a meme the other day where, like, it was like, that boy Sanji cooking. Better get me a new sword power up. And I'm not going to lie to you. To this day, I am still kind of feeling some type of way about Enma. Not gonna lie, it kind of felt like Zoro got a magic sword. Not gonna lie, kind of felt like a lot of Zoro's slashing feats. Not his, like, durability ones, like when he took the attack of I'm still going to talk about that to this day. The attack of the Hakai from Big Mom and Kaido and whatever. Like, that's still all him, but, like, the sword slash and stuff like that, wounding Kaido, it kind of felt like that was Enma. Like, Kaido didn't talk about Zoro's hockey. He didn't talk about, like, Zoro. He talked about, like, Odin. He said he felt Odin. It kind of felt like that was Enma. So I've always felt a type of way ever since that happened. Before, when Zoro fight, even when he got new swords, it always seemed to stem from him. It always seemed to be, like, his power. And for the first time in, like, the history of One Piece, for me at least, it kind of felt a little bit more attributed to the sword, and I did feel a certain type of way about that. So now it's just like that meme kind of really hit us Zoro fans really hard, and it was kind of hard to deal with, not gonna lie. Respect credit where credit is due. Sanji put up a good fight. Now, I'm gonna cope a little bit more. His eyebrow is turned. He's in, I'm just gonna call it Germa mode, where he's activated his cybernetics or his Germa DNA, so his durability has skyrocketed. I'm sure his speed has skyrocketed. So I don't know why everyone was shocked that he deflected the laser, because I swore he did that last chapter. Like, he deflected a couple of them, and then I think he tanked a couple because he wasn't gonna be able to deflect all of them, and he prioritized defending, I think, Bonnie and them. But, like, right now Sanji's on kind of a power buff right now, and I don't know. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. It's just a good showing for Sanji. And like I said, credit where credit is due. Like, he handled that. That's an ad. Like, in the grand scheme of things, where you have Kizaru and what's his name, Lucci, it's definitely Kizaru by like leaps and bounds. So it's just, ugh, it's super problematic, but whatever. Luffy's back in the fight. He's using his Gear 5. He talks to what's her name? Joribani. Joribani's like, I've been looking for you. He's like, I've been here the whole time. She's like, no, I didn't know you were the sun god. He talks shit about her attack. She's like, I was trying to do an attack like you, and show me how to do it. And so I'm really, really excited to see when she uses her powers again, because as you know, Saturn kind of verified it was because her faith was waning, her faith was weakening. But now that it is concretely, you know, her God has descended before her, she has seen her God, her faith is going to be restored. She's going to be able to use her abilities at their full peak. So I can't wait to see her not only replicate some of Luffy's powers, but maybe do some other crazy shit now that, you know, essentially Luffy is proof that the sky is the limit, that imagination is unbound. So I kind of want to see what kind of crazy futures she can think of. Her power, honestly, is going to be incredible, and I can't wait to see what else she does with it. Um, the the giant pirates are here. I am so happy to see Dorian Bragi. That shit is lit. My boys, my homies. It's great for them to be in the series. I'm a fan of someone called Best Guy Ever, Nate, and I completely disagree with his take. He's really pissed off. He's really mad that both giants are here. He thinks it's a blight to their honor, that one of them should be dead, that postponing their fight is whack, or that if they decide not to fight anymore for Nika is whack, and like it was a whole honor thing and it ruins that. Disagree. I think he's harping on stuff. I like Nate a lot because he is one of the few people that's able to be critical about One Piece. He stands that like One Piece is phenomenal, but like you know, he is hypercritical, but sometimes I do think he gets too critical about certain things or forgets certain points and like kind of goes in too deep. But irrespective of that, I truly don't care. I'm happy that both Dorian and Bragi are here. I'm happy that both of them are alive. I'm happy that their battle is either postponed or over. I'm okay if they don't go back. The reason for the fight is stupid. It was gaggy, haha. Like who's stronger, who has the bigger dragon, dinosaur, blah blah blah, yada yada. It was essentially like a PG version of a pissing contest, a dick measuring contest, and that's over now. I don't think they need a fight. I don't think they need to die. Yes, I do understand that, you know, Elbaf and Giants are all about honor and the honor code and blah blah blah. But like, I truly do not think this is that deep in the grand scheme of things. So honestly, I have no issue at all. Some talk. So Katarina Devon shows up with Augur, and I thought that was super dope. I didn't expect Augur because last time we saw Augur, he was with Blackbeard fighting Law, and so even though he does have the teleportation powers, I didn't think he would be able to get here so quickly. So it's crazy that he was able to get here so quickly, but also that ship seemed to have been here for quite some time. So maybe Katarina Devon came alone, and then he used his abilities to show up later because we've seen this ship since like I want to say around the beginning of Egghead. Well, not the beginning of Egghead, but sometime way earlier on in Egghead, right? And it makes me wonder about like his abilities and such because later on when well, first of all, I'm getting ahead of myself. So they show up, talk shit to Saturn. They don't seem surprised at all about Saturn's appearance, that Saturn is here. Honestly, it seems to fit into this plan, which just once again just goes to highlight what a great planner that Teach is. Katarina Devon touches his leg, says mission complete. Which, by the way, I'm not a big fan of how it seems like she has to touch people to take their ability. That seems kind of whack. It seems basically like Mr. Two's fruit. And it's like, what makes it better? Just because it's a mythical, maybe has some other like offensive capabilities attached to it. But whatever. And for the longest time, I'm going to be real with you. I could not figure out what they were planning to do. My thing was they were going to try to infiltrate the Gorosei. Maybe if Saturn doesn't survive, they can like shoot themselves in, but it's kind of weird to me because how would they not recognize it? You know, Katarina Devon isn't going to know everything that Saturn knew, isn't going to have his personality unless that's an attribute of the Devil Fruit. It'll give you maybe a little bit of their memory or enough of their mannerisms and whatnot to pass as them. I don't know. We'll find out. Maybe that's part of, you know, Teach's whole shtick is he's just so good at information gathering. Maybe that's what Lafitte did. You know, he spied on them for a little bit, got like their manners and stuff. But I just feel like Saturn is not going to have all of the information necessary, mannerisms necessary, just the know-how to, give to Katarina for her to pass as a Gorosei. Some really cool things I heard though were, they thought that they had the highest authority when it came to the Pacifista, so that would be another reason. That would be another reason for her to take Saturn so that they could have control over the Pacifista. I was watching a Morge video, and something I like that he said would be, Blackbeard is trying to become king, so it would be nice to have like an inside man to help push legislature towards putting Teach in that role. So that would be really cool. Anyway, Saturn talks to them. He's like, "What do you guys want?" Blah blah blah. To which I believe they both or Augur reply, "The world." So like, shit is really getting deep. Shit is really about to pop off, and I am here for it. And I cannot wait to see Teach's Grandmaster plan, because as a combatant, he's always bothered me. He's always perturbed me. Logically, story wise, I know that he is this big threat, that he's this big powerful threat, but his showings have been pathetic to me. He has great feats, but they're usually off screen or they're a result of bullshit, blah blah. And it's kind of funny. I was just thinking to myself, literally today, I was just thinking about myself how like I don't like Blackbeard because he has, in my opinion, you guys can disagree, be like, but he did this. I'm like, cool. But to me, he looks like such a lame. He has such poor showings. He always gets jobbed and embarrassed. But then I was sitting there and thinking, yo, I'm biased because Luffy has like a 60% win rate. Luffy gets like jobbed and bodied all the time, and I don't care when it's Luffy. So I was like, Once I put it through that perspective, I was like, I've been giving like Blackbeard a little bit too much shit, But like, still, I don't know. He just doesn't do it for me like Luffy. Maybe it's because he's not the main character. Maybe he doesn't have that charisma. I don't know. But like, I don't care. Fuck you. So that was really, really interesting. They talk about Teach having a bloodline. At this point, I'm done on the fucking like theories and just the predictions. I don't know. We've been thinking, oh, he has a Cerberus devil fruit, so it allows him to have 3 devil fruits. Oh, he has 3 hearts, so he can have 3 devil fruits. Oh, he has 3 personalities, so that'll allow him to have 3 devil fruits. Oh, he's part of some sun race. I'm sorry, some moon race. He doesn't sleep and blah blah blah, yada yada yada. Now we're learning, like I said, we're learning about bloodlines. He could be Zebek's son. Maybe Zebek is in him. I have a whole, past, present, future theory because of, the 3 skulls on this flag. Who knows? I'm just gonna wait for Oda to explain it, because at this point, the sky's the limit. It could be anything. It could be the devil fruit. Like I said in one video, and I don't know if I actually had this line edited in, because I think my editor messed up on it. But I was like, maybe I said something along the lines of, now that we know the Gumu Gumu no Mi isn't the Gumu Gumu no Mi, it's actually the Hito no Mi model Sanganika. Maybe the Yami Yami isn't the Yami Yami. Maybe it's the Hito no Mi model, Moon Demon, I don't know, Lika or something. And instead of Joy Boy, he's Sad Lad or something like that. Who knows? There's just so much going on right now. I'm just gonna wait. But like, plans are really moving to fruition right now. The plot is really chugging along. And yeah, I just can't wait to see how all these things are going to come together. So let's move on into 1108, right? So we're moving on into 1108, and it starts off where we left off, and it's Caribou finally getting in touch with the Blackbeard pirates. He is basically the antithesis of Bartholomew. So as Bartholomew is to Luffy, he is to Blackbeard. He worships him, he loves him, he's wanted to join his crew forever, and this is his chance. Now it's very clear that like Augur and Katarina have want nothing to do with him, don't really care, and honestly, it looks like they're really ready to blast him. But he makes them hold off and basically tells them that like, hey, I have important information, rare information. Teach is gonna want to hear it. You don't want to kill me. And Augur being like kind of, that person of reason, like you get this sense from Augur that he's really intelligent, that he's probably one of the top smartest people in the crew and stuff like that. He's able to ID immediately who Caribou is. So I thought that was kind of interesting. And he's like, okay, let's hear him out. And 2 things I want to talk about before I go further is the reason they met Caribou is because he was supposed to teleport himself and Katarina Devon like away, hopefully to like another island. but they were still on the island. So I thought that was interesting, and it could be for any manner of reasons. He says he's still learning to control the devil fruit, so maybe it's because of the suppression that Saturn was kind of imbuing around the island. Maybe it's because he's taking an additional person with him, and if it's just himself, it's easy. But if it's for each person he takes with him, it becomes exponentially more difficult. Maybe it's like Law's devil fruit, like it's a stamina thing. Also, if you're taking, if you're going to teleport to a different island, what about that ship you came in on? But I guess it doesn't really make sense to try to go back to that ship because there's like a whole Buster call right now, and then there's a bunch of Marines and there's a bunch of Giants right now. So I can understand them being like, nah, let's just say screw the ship, screw whoever happens to be manning it. We're out of here. That the crew is kind of cutthroat like that, so it makes sense, right? So one thing I haven't liked that's been going on that happened last chapter and this chapter is there's been like panels dedicated to like recap. I hate it. I hate it. Please, Oda, stop that. I hate it. True fans are gonna know or are gonna be able to look it up or hop on. I just don't like us wasting. And I know it's like one panel, but I just don't like us wasting valuable like lore and story time and stuff, especially for a series this long and this big, on just like stuff that we don't need. Like last chapter we get a recap on Dorian Broggy and who they are. I'm like, are you kidding me? Are you serious right now? And then on this chapter, we get a recap about like the information that Caribou knows, and it's like we know he knows about Poseidon, we know he knows about Pluton. Like we didn't need this, and I kind of wish they would do something kind of like they do in American comics, where if there's kind of any reference to something that happened in a different issue or in a past or in a cross issue or something, there's just a little like head note or something written there, like as seen in issue whatever chapter blah 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 blah, blah yada yada. Like I think that's all you need. You don't got to dedicate a whole panel to it. Either people are going to know, and the people that don't can take the time themselves to go back and read it. You don't have to dedicate a panel that could go towards anything else going on right now, right? So I digress. But yeah, it kind of sucks we didn't get rid of Caribou when we had the chance. To be honest, it's not our crew's style. And honestly, even if we wanted to, I think there was kind of a lot of goodwill made because of the fact that he was the one that provided Luffy with food during the Kaido fight. That inevitably helped, Luffy win that fight. So I guess like Zoro and the other people kind of like gave him that credence and helped him out and stuff like that. But like, oh, they single handedly helped deliver him to their worst enemy, and this is going to make him so much stronger and bring his plans closer to fruition. And it's a scary, scary thought. So anyway, flash forward to we have a major fight going on, and it's the Marines fighting their own pacifista. One of my favorite lines during this part is the fact that one of the Marines says something to the effect of like, "This isn't how I imagined like we would be experiencing or debuting these new like technological weapons." And I think that is so hilarious. Like, can you imagine like the police or the military getting some like, I don't know, some like new laser guns or just some new just like, super great tech that they plan to use on like terrorists and criminals and stuff like that, and they're hyped to get it. And then the next thing they know, these like laser guns and super high tech weapons are being used against them for the first time. And like they're incredible, their power, they're awe inspiring. But like against them, it's like, no, this is terrible. And like in a way, it's kind of fucked up and sad because they are the good guys, and these are supposed to be weapons used for good, but that was never gonna happen with like the Goro saying the powers that be in control. But like it's almost worse in this regard because it's Bonnie now, but if it was like actual bad villains who had this power, it would be devastating, right? But I just thought that was hilarious. We get a bunch of panels of various vice admirals, and I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. I don't know which vice admirals we've seen before and which we haven't. Part of me feels like we haven't seen like half of them. Part of me is like we probably have, and I just didn't care because I'm gonna be real. I don't care about a lot of the vice admirals unless they leave like a big impression on me. They're kind of just like background characters unless like they give me like a solid like either their debut is something special or they leave like a really lasting impact on me. So I have no clue, but some of them seem cool. The one I want to talk about the most, I believe his name is Hound. I'm not sure if it's Hound, but he says something along the lines of, I know it's unprecedented, but maybe we call off this Buster call. And I'm like, okay, this is a great guy to have on your side. He's logical because he's like, yeah, I know we don't normally do this. I know like this isn't how we operate, but like this is a quite a different situation. This is kind of like a really bad situation for us. This is like a no-win situation. I think if there was any time to call up a Buster call, it would be now. And I love it because it's not even like it's for like a good moral reason, like, oh no, we're like hurting civilians, blah blah. It's like no, we're like fucking over like government assets and putting our own people at risk and our own tech at risk. Maybe we should postpone this because it's not doing what we wanted it to do. And I hope someone listens to this man. They're not going to, because when do they ever? But my man's has got a point. So anyway, one of the vice admirals, I think his name is Tusa, is chasing after, I believe, Frankie, Atlas, and I think Jory Bonnie, right? And he's just about to get on them when he gets a giant axe to the back. I was like, damn! That was fire. And it's our homies, Dory and fucking Broggy, our guys. And they're like, we were familiarized ourselves with the new Straw Hat wanted poster, but like to make sure we know who's on their crew so that we can get them out of here. But like we don't recognize you guys. So who are you? And so I I laughed. I was like, yeah, that makes sense. Like Atlas wouldn't be here, Joey Bonnie's not on the crew. But I was like, why don't you recognize Frankie? And then my dumbass forgot. And I was like, oh, it's because he's like, he changed his hairstyle, he's got that like twist top, blah, blah, blah. But then I realized, no, it's not that. It's not because like he looks different than normal. It's because his bounty post is not even him. I remember his first, like not his first one, but like his second one was the Battle Shogun, the Frankie Shogun. And then I currently think, I can't remember, but is it currently the Sunny? Is it currently the Sunny or something like that? I totally cannot remember. I know that it's not him, and I think it's the most hilarious thing. Luckily, we don't have like a anime comic misunderstanding moment where like they don't listen to each other, they just assume each other enemies and fight. He's just like, no, that's my captain. Are you guys enemies? And they basically cut to the chase, like, no, we're not enemies. We're actually here to save and rescue him. So basically, like, all right, well, we're gonna go ahead. Luffy, Sanji, and Vegapunk are over there. So if you could go help them, that would be awesome. So now our homies are getting help. This situation isn't looking as daunting as it once was. Because I remember in my other review, I was kind of telling myself, like, hey, yo, how are we getting out of this one? Like, I know we got Gear 5 Luffy, I know we got this, but we're starting, there's a lot of things happening. So, like, there's got some, like, big reinforcements. Some big help has to come. I wasn't even thinking the Giants, but now the Giants are here. I'm like, this is perfect. This is the best way to get out of here. They tell them that the rest of the crew is on up in the clouds. Of course, these guys have no clue about like Egghead and the technology here, and so they're like on a Sky Island. And they're like something like that, but not quite. So they're gonna go figure that out, right? And so they say those are some so they also say those are some names that we haven't heard of in a while, right? Obviously Luffy and Sanji, but also, are they also talking about Vegapunk? And they talk about, oh, that's the name that the scholar talked about. So I'm wondering if that is Jaguar D. Saul or some other, not necessarily a survivor of Ohara, but someone else who has been studying like the Void Century, ancient texts and stuff like that, and made their way to Ohara, right? So anyway, a bunch of the vice admirals are heading back to the island, I guess, to figure out what's going on, to help out Saturn, to quote unquote bail him out and stuff. And we have Bluegrass, who commandeers a sea beast, a sea giraffe, to transport them back to island. She has Doll get on, and they're talking about she's asking Doll if she's had any experience with giants before, and Doll says that her commanding officer 20 years ago was a giant. I thought that was crazy because Doll looks really, really young. So like she can't be like more than her late 40s to me. I mean, even though like in One Piece people look really, really good. So I'm thinking maybe she, I'm thinking the youngest she may have enlisted was maybe like 16. So maybe she's at youngest 36. At most, I'm hoping like maybe like 45 or something. But I truly did not think she was like that old. It's not super old, but like I didn't get that impression from her. I personally always thought she was like, late 30s at most. So maybe she's late 30s, early 40s. And so apparently her commanding officer was Jaguar D. Saul. And I'm wondering if that's gonna have any kind of relevance to this, if any of like what happened to him she's aware about, if it rubbed off on her and stuff like that, and what we're gonna see. Also, Is she part of Sword? No, because everyone who's a part of Sword went to the island with Garp, right? But didn't they, I thought they did contact her. I think she did have some kind of role in that. That I think Garp talked to her or something like that. So I do think she is going to be one of the Marines that is going to be morally ambiguous and going to think that like, huh, what's happening here isn't quite right. Anyway, so we're back to the scene with Saturn and Sanji, Luffy, and the rest of them, and Saturn is pissed. He is big, big, big mad, bro. He's gone full Zoan or whatever or demon, whatever you want to call it at this point, and he is completely losing his shit. Um, his flames are higher. His tentacles are poisonous now, and he is going crazy. Luffy is still insisting that Sanji get Vegapunk out of here. Vegapunk insists that like, hey, if you move me, I'm going to die. Don't worry about me. And while Saturn is rampaging, Kizaru uses this moment to send a laser beam that directly pierces Vegapunk's body. So before, if you already thought that Vegapunk was screwed and dying, now it's almost as if Oda is even more like laying it on thick that like, nah, Vegapunk is not getting out of here. Gonna be real with you, I had a whole spiel about the fact that like I don't think he's gonna die here. Well, not that I don't think he's gonna die here, but like he won't necessarily die here. There's just a lot of factors working in his favor right now. We found out literally earlier in this arc that he is growing organs. Like he's literally growing organs, right? So that wouldn't surprise me. We find out that like when Atlas got destroyed, that there's a bunch of cybernetic parts and replacements that they keep on hand to repair them. So that's accessible. We have Chopper, we have the other Vegapunks. So like in my opinion, like it wouldn't be out of the realm of like possibility that they're able to get him to a lab and combining the joint like resources of Egghead and the joint knowledge of Chopper with his medicine, Frankie with his technological know-how, and maybe the other Vegapunks. They're able to heal him, get him organs, also whatever parts they can't replace with organs, they can replace with cybernetics and somehow keep him alive. Otherwise, I can see him dying, especially because of what happens at the very end of the episode. But after Kizaru lasers the shit out of what's it called, Vegapunk's body, Luffy fucking loses his shit. And for a second, it almost seems like he loses his smile. For a second, it kind of seems like he loses that playfulness, that joyfulness, and he immediately snatches Saturn up, snatches Kizaru up. You can see Kizaru cough up blood. So this jaunt, like Luffy is mad, he is not playing, and this jaunt hurts. And he has these two at the same time, and it is an incredible feat. I'm really, I'm really shocked by the way that he's holding like Saturn once again has poison, so I'm wondering if that poison is going to affect him. Probably not because one, Luffy has been poisoned at least like up like 4 times now in the series. So his fucking resistance right now, his immune system is through the roof. And then you top that off with Gear 5, which would probably maybe make him like immune to like poison in the first place anyway. So like I don't foresee that being a problem, but that's still wild to me. Yes, Kizaru, that's insane to me. And so now Luffy is finally pissed. And I'm really glad that Oda had this scene. It almost feels as if he's been hearing all these like YouTubers, reviewers, and commenters super mad at him because like a lot of people are complaining that Gear 5 doesn't have stakes. And there is credence to what they're saying. I hate when people try to like gaslight and just kind of brush things off. There's a lot of credence to the criticisms of Gear 5. You can like Gear 5, you can like One Piece, but it's okay to criticize, it's okay to acknowledge certain things, and there are legit criticisms and there are stake issues, right? There are issues with that. But like it's nice to see a moment where he gets kind of dark. He gets kind of angry, serious for a moment. And then literally the next panel, he's back to smiling. So take that for what it will. But the sheer fact that Oda is cognizant enough that Luffy does have the ability to like get serious is more than enough for me to show that like down the line, I think like when there's stakes and stuff like that, like he's not just gonna be laughing over. Because I remember in my other recording that I never posted, I did talk about how like Vegapunk is down and dying, and Luffy's like, ha 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 ha, ha. And that's a little bit weird, right? And I'm always going to miss like one of my favorite things about Luffy. Like I remember the first time, like I just like I've always loved Luffy, but the first time I was like, it's insanely like, oh my god, was when he like gives Nami the hat and he's just like looking angry at Arlong and like just angry. I love that version of Luffy. Like the thing that makes Luffy so good and like his fights so empowering and impactful is this really like it's when you see the nice guy, the gentle giant, the like person that doesn't bother him, the person that's always laughing, haha, geeking, haha, hee hee, blah blah blah. When you see that person get mad, you know all hell is about to break loose. And that's what has always worked for Luffy. That juxtaposition of like happy go lucky to all right, you fucked up. You fucked up. Like that shit is scary to see. I've witnessed it in real life. I've been that person in real life. So it is terrifying. So I'm really happy to see that we're going to get something like that hopefully later on. And this was just kind of a taste of that. So that is fucking brilliant. Anyway, as I was saying, I think that Vegapunk, I thought for the longest time Vegapunk was unlikely to die, but because of something that just happened recently, it fulfills a role that I want. And this random announcement comes on and it goes, hey, this is Vegapunk, the smartest and most humble scientist in the world. And that had me geeking, and that immediately made me think, okay, I do not think this is actually like Stella Dr. Vegapunk, like the prime Vegapunk, because like would he call himself humble in this moment? So at first I was like, okay, I feel like it's York. Seems like York. But like York's tied up. And I was like, honestly, it seems even more so like Lilith, right? That seems to be her personality, but Lilith is with like Brook on the Sunny right now. We still don't know how they're gonna slow themselves down. My theory was, either like, well, not, I don't think they're gonna do it, but like either use the dandelion propellers on the head of the Sunny, or use the Gal cannon to fire themselves back. But I heard someone say something about Bubble, so we'll figure it out. They'll figure it out, I suppose. But like she's busy, so it can't be her. So I think it might just be like some kind of dead man switch in Vegapunk, some kind of contingency where it's like, oh, I guess if I die, I'm gonna leak your fucking secrets on government. I don't got nothing to live for anyway. Yeah, yeah. You thought I was naive? You thought I was naive? Yeah, yeah. If I'm going down, I'm taking y'all niggas with me. So I kind of thought it was that kind of situation, right? Which kind of annoys because like Vegapunk is so selectively like, here, I'm naive, I'm dumb, but also I did this, so blah. I don't know what's going on with that, but if it is Vegapunk, kudos to him. It kind of contradicts some other stuff I think about him, but I love it, and I'm also hoping that this information is getting like disseminated via Punk Records. I'm really hoping this might be Punk Records' time to shine and like disseminate this information. And I think it's honestly such a brilliant, brilliant, brilliant plan because can't kill everyone, right? You can't kill everyone. Like anytime anyone finds something out, you got O'Hara, you got Lelouch. Anytime like there's a big threat to like the national security of the Gorosei and Imu and all that, they do something. Buster Call, the I don't know what it was called, the let's just call it the erasure of Lelouch. They do something like that to wipe out the planet to like stop those secrets, rumors, history from coming out. But if the entire world knows the history, what are you gonna do? And so one of two things I think is gonna happen. One, this is the literal greatest thing that could happen for the Revolutionary Army. Literally the greatest thing that could happen for the Revolutionary Army. The Revolutionary Army now they've already started igniting, like fanning the flames. They've been building momentum. More and more shit has happened. The government's been doing more and more egregious stuff, and people and like revolutions have been rising from island to island to island. But now that if the truth gets out about what the world government is doing, they are going to have infinitely more islands angry, upset, wanting vengeance, willing to fight for the cause, and they are going to get a slew of new recruits and a slew of other people down for the cause, down for the revolution, right? Another thing is, Imu might go DEFCON 1 and decide, all right, I don't know if DEFCON 1's the worst. I'm assuming DEFCON 1's the worst. It's not if it's DEFCON like 5 or something, maybe. I don't, whichever is the highest mother in DEFCON, they're gonna go to it, and they're going to bring back the Void Century. Whatever they did during the Void Century to like get rid of like everything and start the world anew and put themselves at the top, they're gonna have to say, fuck, we're gonna have to do this again. And my thing is either they need all the ancient weapons to do so, and by trying to mobilize that, that's when maybe Blackbeard shows up, swoops in, and that's how he's able to get everything going for himself. Or because they don't have access to that anymore, they have to do something with they need the Mother Flame. But because they don't have Vegapunk anymore, they're not gonna be able to. Or maybe they try to rescue York so that she does it. But they're either gonna need, I think, in my opinion, the three ancient weapons or the Mother Flame to like completely do a completely new Void Century. And if they can't do that, then they're screwed and they're gonna be at war with the world. But yeah, this has been a phenomenal, 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 incredible chapter. I'm so excited for where One Piece is going right now. I'm so excited to see what's gonna happen with Luffy right now and Saturn and Kizaru. I'm wondering if Saturn even gets out of this alive, and if Saturn doesn't get this out of this alive, who's gonna see it because they sent all these people away. So maybe this is perfect timing for Katarina Devon to infiltrate the Gorosei to say like he got away somehow, blah blah blah, yada yada yada. Maybe she can also use what's his name, Augur's abilities to like imitate that like demon seal thing, so like she can like teleport places and just like throw smoke and mirrors and stuff around. Who the hell knows? I know a lot of people are theorizing that like maybe she can replicate the powers. I think that would be. I think she could replicate maybe the transformation, but not the actual powers, because that would be OP. Like that would be like the number one devil fruit if you could like imitate people's powers, image and the power. She'd be like basically essentially like the super scroll of the One Piece world. And I forgot to mention this earlier, but I think like the line about him not controlling powers is kind of important, so that maybe like later on in the series when he has this like battle or competition with Usopp, he's not going to be quite perfect at it and stuff like that, or there's going to be slip ups here and there that'll help out the story. But yeah, man, I think I covered everything I wanted to cover. If I missed something, I'll either get it in post or like I'll just cover it in another video. But I thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it. I'm gonna end the video here. Thank you guys for tuning into Otaku Talk. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. And you guys just have a great weekend. Take care. Peace.